Hello, everyone. It's Michael Jaco with Unleashing Intuition Secrets. So President Trump is pushing back on the deep state in our cities. We know that we have some serious problems in our cities. They're full of criminals. The Biden administration let in millions of illegal aliens, and of course, we have lots of terrorists. By some accounts, there's over 1,000 known terrorists that were allowed to come into the United States. Sleeper cells. So these sleeper cells at some point will be activated in these big blue cities. When I did a show with Nino Rodriguez and David, and we talked about probably going to happen before it gets really wintry, right? So right now, most of the country is experiencing some good warm weather. Here we had a little early. I've lived here in Lake Tahoe for many years. I left for a few years, went to Florida, but this is a very early snowstorm. So I kind of predicted that we would probably see a lot of snow this year. So it's starting early, right? This will probably be melted off by this weekend when we're supposed to have temperatures in the 60s. So I will be down on the beach, on the lake, the lake beach, in a few days. And that's the beautiful thing about this area, where there's Nevada, California, whatever, beautiful mountains, and you can lots of different things. Water's everywhere. So we love to, participate in all of the beautiful things, right? So that's what I love about, being up here in the mountains. You've got access to a lot of different things, and it's somewhat safer than from tsunamis. So are they coming? I don't know, but man, it does look like things are moving that direction. Because we're getting a lot of interaction with the sun, lots of energies coming in, wave after wave. It's building up, and at some point, I think it's going to really release. So I've seen it, and a lot of other psychics have seen it. So California could be getting hit pretty good. But let's look at all those cities. So one city that wanted troops. And they're like, oh, you're sending troops to cities that have high crime rates? So Memphis, Tennessee requested federalized National Guard troops, which President Trump was happy to do. And so they're there, and they're doing a great job. Of course, they did a great job in D.C., not so much in L.A. because they have a lot of people fighting them, cartels and so forth. Same thing in Portland, and same thing in Chicago. Now, I'll talk about it. There's an article where the cartels in Chicago are offering rewards to kill high officials in ICE, up to $50,000. So it's pretty much on in some of these cities. Now, what happens? Let's say they've been in Portland. Remember when Trump was in office last time and had the George Floyd riots? Portland just blew up. Portland, Seattle, Minneapolis, all kinds of cities burned or were taken over by criminals, and we're not going to see that change this time unless we get in there and start taking action. So I think that's what President Trump is trying to do. Will he invoke the Insurrection Act? I think he will at some point. And he's going to start going, because he's getting a lot of resistance from a lot of political types, right? I don't know how they can still walk the streets. When political types call for violent action against ICE and federal agents, that are trying to get illegal criminals off our streets, that's crazy to me. That's crazy that they can still walk around. I think with the Insurrection Act, some of them might start to get arrested. So I know we look forward to that, but will that be the cure? Will that be the cure in some of these big cities? Absolutely not. Portland has been rioting against ICE agents for over 100 days. So it hasn't let up. Chicago, as I'm showing a video, they attacked ICE agents that were basically in pursuit of criminal aliens. The criminal aliens wrecked their vehicle, and when the ICE agents got out to arrest them, they were pelted by local citizens with eggs and so forth, right? So when you got the local, citizenry that's not, that doesn't want it to happen, and it needs to happen, you're going to have conflict. So that's what's going to happen in a lot of cities going forward. New York probably is going to be really, really tough. That's a big city, and you have anti-Trump derangement syndrome massively in New York. So we'll probably see the same thing in Boston, and I don't know how many. I made a prediction there was going to be like 19 different cities. Some people have said 17, others 14. It remains to be seen. Probably a lot of violence in a lot of cities going forward. So let's look at Memphis, right? Memphis is doing good because people are open to it because they got a problem there in Memphis. Memphis is a beautiful city. I've spent a lot of time in Memphis. I've been to shooting schools there, Shaw Shooting Academy. There's a breaching school there, T's Breaching. I don't know if they're still there, but when I was in, I went there when I was in SEAL Team 6, and then I was in the regular SEAL teams in charge of training. I would take teams or platoons to the shooting school. So we did a lot of shooting there, and then afterwards we would go to Beale Street and hang out, have a good time. It was a great time. Beale Street. I took my kids and took them to Graceland so they could see Graceland when they're little. Fantastic, Elvis's home. So lots of great things, but it's deteriorated over time. Criminal activity, bad decisions from politicians and so forth. But Tracy and I just went through Memphis on our way here from Florida, and we stopped and had a great meal. The food in Memphis is over the top. God, what a great place. So it's the people there want their city to be cleaned and the violence to be taken out. So great job on the people in Memphis. National Guard, as you see here, joins Memphis Safe Task Force, begins patrols in city. So you see them, they're checking vehicles that are suspect and they get back in their vehicles. Here it is. Memphis Police Department and members of National Guard patrol alongside Riverside Drive, very famous, area, Beale Street. Great place to hang out, eat food, party, listen to great music, blues music. So you see here, getting the fist pump. Yep. Glad you're here. So good job. Good job for the National Guard. And, Beale Street, BB King Boulevard. I've been all over Memphis. It's a beautiful city. So glad to see that some of these cities that have been, overrun by criminals, cartels, and so forth are getting turned around. So obviously the citizens like it, and it's going to happen for them. Now, why is Chicago different? Why is Portland different? Why is LA different? Now, San Francisco just asked President Trump to send troops. Wow. San Francisco. Yeah. One of the most beautiful cities in America for a long time. Same thing with Portland, but Portland doesn't want them. San Francisco, what happened? Nancy Pelosi's, haunt, Gavin Newsom also. How is it that San Francisco, and we'll see. So somebody might have said, hey, we want troops here to clean up San Francisco, but we're going to see what the Dems do about that, right? That's the problem. The people want it, but these Dems, Democrat demon rats, basically don't want that. And so they influence people through their, through the press and so forth, to go to violence and to push back on it. It's very sad. It's very sad. So Memphis, I know some of you guys might have heard a song by, what's that artist's name? Mark Cohen, I think it is. Walking in Memphis. Yep, Mark Cohen. I pulled it up. We'll play a little piece for you. It's a beautiful song. Whenever I think about Memphis, I think about this song. And it's really haunting.
And me, then I'm walking in Memphis, just walking with my feet 10 feet off a beam, walking in Memphis, but do I really feel the way I feel? Saw the ghost of Elvis.
So a pretty good song. So I wonder if those National Guard troops have blue suede shoes. I do. So from that song, so I got some blue suede shoes because of that song. I had to do it. All right. So we know that Elvis is still alive. All right. So Pastor Bob Joyce is not going to say right out that he's Elvis, because he's been, I don't know, maybe witness protection program for a long time, and now he's come out. There's a lot of people that have done the background investigation on him, and they're quietly saying that that is Elvis. So pretty cool. So those people that go into witness protection, sometimes, as in his case, I guess, they come back. So very cool. How many more are out there walking around that we don't know about? All right, chaos in Chicago, of course.
Chicago neighborhood ended in a crash. ICE agents say the driver was an illegal immigrant trying to flee arrest. Residents at the scene began throwing eggs and rocks at the agents, who in turn fired tear gas to disperse the crowd. The incident highlights the growing risks for federal officers. The Homeland Security Department is reporting Mexican cartels are now offering cash rewards.
So check this out. $2,000 for information on where ICE agent or his family lives. Wow. So $10,000 for kidnapping and non-lethal attacks.
$2,000 for intelligence on officials and their families. $5,000 to $10,000 for kidnapping or non-lethal assaults, and up to $50,000 for murdering high-ranking officials. DHS has increased security for federal agents and officials.
Way to go, Chicago. So, they have got like, over 1,000 people that died by gunshot, but, that happens. It happens on occasion there. So, now what does President Trump say about that? I say it's BS. And the poor people of Chicago, I've been to Chicago, Windy City, beautiful city, also great food, and lots of beautiful areas. But man, it looks like a shithole with all these people demonstrating.
I talked about crime, but I never knew that we were going to get into it like we did. I used to watch these cities with the murders. Chicago recently had one deal where they had 11 murders in one weekend. And they said, well, yeah, but it was a holiday weekend. They actually told me that was the reason. like it was okay because it was a holiday. It was Labor Day. These people are the worst. They really have to, they better, I tell you what, the people in Chicago and the people in places like that, that can be fixed. At some point, it gets to where you can't fix it.
So they can be fixed, like Memphis, like DC, all right? Like a lot of cities that probably need them. I see you guys like, send them to this city, send them to this city. We need them. So that's possibly coming, right? Very possibly coming for a lot of cities. And, you know, the places where people want it, it'll probably get turned around really quick, like he's saying. But the longer it goes on, like a Chicago or a New York or an LA or Portland has allowed stupidity. I remember going to Portland, gosh, when I was at 20 years old. So that was 45 years ago. I remember going to Portland, and it was a magnificently beautiful city. But even back then, they were just allowing bums and homeless people just to sleep and roam around all the way back then. When you have that kind of mentality in the political spectrum, eventually it's going to lead to what we're seeing in Portland now, a complete chaos, breakdown of the system. Most people are frustrated. They want it to change, but they have a political system that is stopping it from changing.
Anymore. It's too far gone. And we have some cities like that. But these are great cities that can be fixed. I'm going to be strongly recommending, at the request of government officials, which is always nice, that you start looking at San Francisco. I think we can make San Francisco. There's one of our great cities 10 years ago, 15 years ago, and now it's a mess. And we have great support in San Francisco. So I'd like to recommend that for inclusion, maybe in your.
All right, so that's coming. That's coming, sounds like, for San Francisco, because the city officials want it. They're asking for it. So this can absolutely turn around in places that want it, and the political hierarchy that wants it and allows it. So we're going to see this happen in a lot of cities. A lot of cities in America really, really need it bad. Once incredibly beautiful cities. So Albuquerque, New Mexico is one of them. I remember I've gone through there for decades, traveling back and forth across country. Is one of my favorite places to stop. When you stop there now, you're going to see homeless and drug addicts all over the streets now. And in some places where we went to eat at a real nice Mexican restaurant, and when we went in, it wasn't so bad. But when we left, it was closing time. They close early, and they have gates in the restaurant. So they were closing the gates. So we went out through the gates, and they closed them behind us. And we went down the street. We could see why, because it was like homeless and drug addicts everywhere in massive numbers. And that's just one area. That was just one area we're in. So Albuquerque absolutely could use some help. All right. So there's lots of cities out there. Detroit is still awful. I thought Detroit had made a turnaround. So Detroit sucks. So, Detroit has had, I guess, Democrats in charge of Detroit for like 45 years or something crazy. Detroit used to be also very beautiful. And I think at one time, I think the second wealthiest city in America. Of course, they had auto plants there and everything, steel plants, all kind of crazy stuff. But yeah, that's all been lost. It's all been, unfortunately. From Chicago here, stay alert, stay alive. Yeah, definitely. It's sad that you have to put that out for all your peeps. But if you live in that area, that's true. Now I was flying. I think we're flying from overseas, and we stopped in Chicago for a little piece, and we went downtown to a really nice steak restaurant. very high end. I can't remember the name. You guys, I looked it up, and it was like one of the best restaurants in all of America. I was like, I got to try that one. So we went down there, and it was magnificent. And same thing. Once we left the restaurant and we got an Uber ride back to the hotel before we took the next flight out, homeless, nastiness. It was sad, very sad. So yeah, there's lots of problems in American cities. It's pretty much the Democrats, guys. I've been saying it for a long time. Democrats got to go, and they're on their way out. So we can be happy about that. Once they're gone, we'll be able to clean these cities up. But some of them are going to resist. They're going to resist all the way to the end. I think Chicago, New York, Boston, like I said. I'd have to look at the map that I picked out all the ones intuitively that I felt were going to be problems. And other people have said similar things. But yeah, there's definitely, we're going to lose some cities. They're going to be destroyed. Chicago is probably going to be destroyed, right? Portland, probably destroyed. But who knows? Maybe, maybe not. If the citizens get involved enough. But you got to be careful with that, because these people that inhabit these cities and these cartel members, like you saw, they're willing to pay $50,000 to kill a high-ranking official in Chicago that's involved with ICE, right? So and now I've seen that some of the areas in Chicago are working. The citizens are working to send texts to each other if ICE comes into the neighborhood, so they can come out and resist, right? So you guys in Chicago get some real issues there, real problems. I feel for you, because it's for a long time Chicago was like, it was one of the biggest cities in America. The cattle barons ran the cattle up there and moved them all across America. So right on the Great Lakes. So there was all kind of, still is, I'm sure, commerce and so forth going through Chicago. But beautiful city, but looks like it's seen better days, unfortunately. And if we don't get some help in there, it's going to go to ruin, and unfortunately probably will to a certain extent. Yep. So completely run by Democrats, and Democrats are destroying it. So Portland, ICE protesters are showing up dressed as like unicorns and frogs and rabbits and all kind of crazy stuff. What's going on with this? What is this nonsense? Why Portland ICE protesters are showing up dressed as giant inflatable animals? So from what I could see, they weren't really giving a good reason, because there is no good reason, of course. So on Monday, a group of 5 frogs, perhaps technically in an army, of course, this is a Portland newspaper, Oregon Live, Portland, right? So it's like the press supports this bullshit. The government supports this bullshit. The people are disgusted with it. But still, this small percentage of people are able to run ramshot over everybody else. So zebras, frogs, unicorns, chickens, and clowns. So the frog contingent has grown steadily since protester Seth Todd was pepper sprayed by officers while wearing an inflatable frog suit. So a live streamer who asked not to be identified due to concerns about harassment, right? It's okay to harass those of us that are like me, and boy, do I get harassed. But for these guys, please don't harass me. I'm only going to put my first name out there. So Portland Freedom Frog, what the ICE protest needed, he thought, wasn't just more frogs, but a fully inflatable menagerie of squirrels, sharks, raccoons, and more. When you have people and inflatables bouncing around, it's going to be very difficult to say this was a war zone. this was a riot. Right? You're pretty clever there, Jordy. It de-escalates with ice. No, it doesn't. Those guys can't, like, really come up and hammer ice like some of these people are. So you have like this inflatable frog, and you got this, cretin that is an absolute, mind deranged idiot that comes in and spits and beats on, ICE officers, and he gets hauled away. Probably going to spend 8 years of the rest of his portion of his life in prison. And you got a frog there, and that makes it okay, Jordy? What the hell? See, this is the problem in a lot of these places. These people are distorted in their consciousness tremendously. And they're out there creating this facade that they're helping illegal immigrants, because anyone that comes to America should be allowed to be here and get taxed. And those of us that work and pay taxes, it should be okay for us to like fund them while, we have people that are losing their jobs and becoming homeless because they lose their jobs. Military veterans that, have PTSD that end up on the streets, all kind of crazy stuff, guys. But yet we're supposed to support illegal aliens, and they get better treatment, better, money and free healthcare and so forth. Our seniors don't get that, right? This is insane. So this bullshit, has to end. These clown people, and they should dress as clowns because they are clown consciously in every aspect of the word. They need to get the strong arm of the law, right? And the only way that's going to happen is if we probably arrest the politicians, right? The politicians are calling for anarchy and violence, and they're allowing cartel members to make these types of claims that will give you $50,000 to kill an ICE agent. There should be like a massive pushback on that, but there's not. That's very, very concerning. And there will probably have to be an escalation, right? And the escalation will probably be military come in and start to take action. And then the cartels and the sleeper cells and the consciously stupid people, right, that wear frog suits will have to be rounded up and pushed out. And I don't know, probably going to be some bullets flying. And then Miss Unicorn is going to get hit, and it's going to be the ICE officer's fault, but it's probably going to get hit in the back, from the other protesters. So this is really a problem, and it really needs to be addressed very aggressively. Let's stop cleaning up the friggin' world and clean up our own country. Jesus, it's insane. All right. Another thing that is insane is the manipulation that has been going on with real money, right? Real money, and that is silver and gold. So we know that back in the day, we had Nixon in 1972, took us off the gold standard, and that really started to, turn things around. So the manipulation had been going on for, decades and decades up to that point. And then once we went off the gold standard, it really went to another level. So silver and gold, silver more than any time in history, guys, because it's basically a very valuable metal because it's used in the computer chips that run your phone, your computer. It's like in everything. It's in submarine torpedoes. It's in missiles. It's in rockets. It's in satellites. It's in solar panels. I mean, gosh, TVs, on and on and on. So there's not only is it a way to protect your wealth, but it's also massively used industrially on a level that's never been seen before. So the suppression that's been going on the price of silver, and every time we've seen silver take off, whether it be back in the early 80s when the Hunt brothers decided, hey, the feds manipulate the market, let's see what happens when we do it. Well, they got spanked, and then the price of silver went back down. And then 2008, 2009, they basically came in and manipulated the price of silver back down again. This time, their manipulation is not working. So you'll see silver, they'll come in heavy with paper silver, right? Sound familiar? Fiat. So they'll come in and say, here's a paper contract of silver. Has nothing to back it. In fact, there's like, I think Dr. Kirk was talking on another show that I heard him on. I think it's like 350.8 contracts of paper to one real contract of physical silver. So that's how they manipulate this price down. So they're getting caught. Right now, silver, if you want to buy it in the exchanges, you're going to pay a premium over the COMEX price, right? The future price. So future price has always been more. Now it's reversed. It's backwardation, as they call it. And you're going to pay 2 to 250 more for silver than what the COMEX says, the manipulated COMEX price. So they're getting caught now without actually having the silver. So it's becoming scarce, right? And so when there's scarcity of something that's of value for different reasons, like we're talking about electric cars. I mean, I could go on and on and on and on. So when these companies need that silver and they're like, okay, we paid you a premium for future price. Now we need the physical. So now there's a scramble because they don't have that much, because it hasn't been coming out of the ground for the last several years in the quantity that it's being used above ground, right? So it's all come to a head. So that's why for the last several years I've been saying get into silver. And I remember I think it's like over a year, maybe a couple of years ago, there's been a lot of people, but this one particular couple got into silver. They had a retirement, they had a nice retirement money, couple mil, put it all in silver with Dr. Kirk, and that's more than doubled now, right? So imagine, I mean, some of you, $2 million, that's way more than but whatever your number is, what's a big number for you? Is it 2,000 and it doubles? Is it 10,000 and it gets doubled, right? Just over the last year, silver's up 80%. Nothing else touches it, right? And when you look at the crypto's getting destroyed, right? Massive manipulation in crypto. And I'm going to talk about that in a little bit, right? So let's go into that. So here is the actual price of silver on the futures market. So silver futures, as you guys see here, right now it is at 52.57. Now let's slide this down a little bit. So just over the last, look at that run. Woo, right? So all the way back in September, right around my birthday, September 27th, it took off and it just started going up. That was a nice birthday present for me. All right. Thank you, silver. So it just took off. It's not going to stop. There's a lot of people saying it always pulls back. Well, why did it pull back in the past? Because they came in and manipulated. Their manipulation, as you guys can see in here, see these big red down candles? So that's the manipulation. So it's spiking because there's not enough silver. and then it gets pushed down by these banksters, right? I will tell you, not only should you get into silver for your future and so that you will have an amazing future, right? But also because it goes against these banksters. It really screws these banksters, bad guys. So let's take them down. Let's pump up the silver, right? Let's get it. Right. So not only are, the average investor like you and I buying up silver as fast as we can. That's right. Hi ho silver. Away. So we're going to see probably $75 to $85 silver in the next couple months, right? So a lot of people are like, oh, I don't know, it might pull back. highly unlikely, but anything's possible. Pigs could fly. So I don't know. I don't think it's going to happen. I think this thing is it's broken. It's not going to get fixed. It's going to reach its real price, which is much, much higher than it is right now. Right. So it's a great store of wealth, and crypto, not so much. So Bitcoin, as you guys can see. So remember, I said that Bitcoin would probably hit 125,000. That was my best guess. And I said, maybe, now I'm looking at long-term, if they are able to turn this market around and manipulate it up, which they've been able to do in the past, if they do that, we may see 135,000 silver. Silver too, but Bitcoin. So I said probably 125,000. It hit that, and it turned around the next couple of days massively. Obviously, massive manipulation going on in crypto, guys. Now, I know a lot of you guys, you crypto bros out there, are just loving on crypto and you think it's a future. I'm telling you, I don't think so. Right. So I know there's very, very well-educated people, and President Trump backs it too. I don't know why that is, but maybe I'm wrong. We'll see. Right. Juan O'Savin is the same thing. He says, you need to be in silver and gold. Crypto is not the way to go. All right. He's talked about that for years. All right. Now I like crypto because it blows up in certain times, and I get in, and fortunately I get the good ones, right? And they blow up. I make some nice profit, and then I get out, right? Because it's going to go back down. So it could go up. It could go up, guys. Now a lot of you guys are, you're going to hold it forever. I don't think that's going to be good, but maybe you're going to be right. We'll see. Right. So as you see right now, it's getting ready. I said it was probably test 109. So it is already started touching 109. As you see right here, it's been down there several times. If it breaks 109, it's going to go down to probably 98. Right. And silver and gold are going to continue to go up. And the stock market is probably going to crash. A little crash. Now, I think I said last week, or maybe the week before, that I thought that stock market was probably going to do a 30% correction. Not continue to go down, although it could, but I think there's going to be a correction. It could be, a 5% correction. It could be a 10% correction, but I think it's going to be a 30% correction. But we'll see. And then it could go back up and reach all-time unbelievable heights again, and then crash. That's what I think ultimately it will do. But everything at this time can change very easily because we're in a different world now, right? So a lot of you guys in XRP, look at that long candlestick on XRP. Went all the way down to 140. I remember watching that and I was like, it's going to go to zero. Oh my God. And so I made a lot of money on XRP. I told you guys I had the dream, and I said the dream was like, put everything in XRP. So I put everything in XRP, went to the moon, and then I got out. Crypto is not long-term, guys. It's just manipulated. Now you look at that long candle, that's absolutely manipulation, right? So I know a lot of you, like I said, XRP, I've made XRP way back before it started to get, hit on by the government, and they tried to manipulate it. And then Trump came in and they took off the guys who were manipulating XRP. They went away, and XRP went to the moon, right? So anyway, that's up to you guys to determine, what you're going to do with your investments. I will tell you that your best investment by far is going to be silver. And I've been saying that for a long time. Now we saw the silver price was like, I think 51, almost 52. Right now, if you look at KEPM, that's Kirk Elliott Precious Metals. All right, that's my dude. So we've been talking for 3 years, educating you guys, getting you ready for this big move in silver, and here it is. So on the spot price is 53.26. Now you can go to AppMex and Ampex or whatever. There's a lot of different places out there that sell silver. You're not going to get silver at this price, guys. Now, if you buy with Dr. Kirk Elliott, you get that an 8% fee in the front. But most places, when you go into a depository, they do like 4% in the front and then 4% when you exit. He does 8% in the front. So for me, having all of my silver more than doubled, almost going on tripling now, I'm very happy that I won't be paying on the other side out, because that's a massive profit. So imagine that. So you get in with a couple million and it turns into 6 million. You pay, 40, whatever it is in the front, and then you pay another 4 on the tail. That's a lot more. All right. So that's the beauty of Dr. Kirk Elliott. Of course, it's in a safe vault and you don't have to worry about it. So if you're buying a lot, or if you have a, retirement plan and so forth, you have to have it, with a precious metals person. So that's Dr. Kirk Elliott. He is the biggest one in the country. So great guy to be with. So look at silver. This is a chart of silver over the last, what is this chart? It's a year chart. Yeah, back to November. So it's a year chart. As you guys can see, it has gone way up. It's up around 80%. So I'll pull that up in a minute. So if you look at the Dow Jones, not even close, way down here, percentage-wise, I think it's like 8% or something like that. So about 10 times less. And S&P, I think it does a little bit better, maybe 14. I think that the NASDAQ's around 17% this year. So again, about 5 times more in silver. So what are you thinking about? I've been telling you guys to get into this stuff. All right, the FTSE, it's way down there. And crude oil, it's way down there. It's like, it's lost money this year. And US dollar. So some of you guys think you can be safe in the US dollar. Safety is in silver. Hello. Safety and an incredible investment at this point. So rarely do you get safety and massive returns. I can tell you, I haven't been an investor for 50 plus years. To get safety and a massive return that beats everything by 5 times, holy moly. It just doesn't happen. There's nothing else like that out there. So let's go. I'm gonna go to Market Watch, and I'm gonna show you guys what is the difference here in price. All right, so Market Watch. So the stock market is kind of flickering back and forth. When it does that, it's usually before it really goes to the downside. All right, it was a massive move yesterday for the Dow. It moved 1,000 points each way. It started out down 600, went as high as 400 plus, and I think it pulled back. It might have actually been negative. I can't remember, but it was negative slightly today. It was down quite a bit. The NASDAQ was up a lot more. I think it was up around, I think the Dow was up today around 300 something. And look what it closed at. Same thing with the NASDAQ. So when they gyrate massively like that, it's about time for them to come off the rails, right? So maybe not. So I can't, tell you guys how to invest, but you need to start thinking about where you're going to have your money. Otherwise, you're going to lose it all. So I've had a lot of people that panicking that have, contacted me online. It's like, go to KEPM, guys. All right. Kirk Elliott Precious Metals, KEPM, and a free consultation. So NASDAQ. First, let's look at the Dow. And you look year to date, 8%, like I showed you in the chart, and KEPM metals. And then we look at the S&P. S&P is doing a little bit better, just under 14% for year to date. And then the NASDAQ is the big performer of the three, 17.4%. And now let's look at silver, high hole silver. All right, 78. All right, I looked at it earlier. It was like 79, so it's pulled back slightly. But if you watch it for a little bit, it'll probably go back over 80. Right. So that's where we're at right now. The silver continuous contract is 52.35, the futures contract. And like you saw, the spot price now is like $1 more. So it's starting to catch up. It's starting to equalize. So it was like $2.50 on Monday. The spot price was $2.50 more than the futures price. So now it's starting to catch up. So it doesn't look to me as if it's going to pull back, guys. All right. The market manipulation is not working. We may even see this thing really start to gallop here in the next few days. I wouldn't be surprised. So now let's look at gold. So a lot of you guys are like, well, gold, everybody buys gold. It goes up so much. Gold was up 33. It's up 42.35 right now. It's been up quite a bit. Let's see. 60%. That's about 20% less. Hello. In an unbelievable stock market year, you'll get 10. And if you get 20%, you are lucky, right? So we're talking about a massive difference on all of those different Dow, S&P, and NASDAQ, and gold, guys. So silver always outruns gold initially. When you see the stock market pull back, we're probably going to see a little bit of a pullback in silver and gold. They could probably use a little bit of a rest and build, because silver has been building a very nice base at 50, right? So 50 is going to be the floor, and it's just going to keep going up. And it'll probably go to 60, build a little bit of a floor, go to 70, build a little bit of floor, 75. That might be what it gets to by the end of the year, or like I say, maybe 85, all right? If we get some real problems in those big cities, which I think is coming, you're going to see that maybe even go to 100, guys, right? So definitely get into silver. And you're going to, like I said, you're going to pay a big premium if you buy it from one of the exchanges and so forth, online exchanges. There, or if you go down to the coin shop, you might get a little bit better of a deal. Buy silver rounds or the highest percentage, like bars that you can afford, right? 5 ounce, 10 ounce, 100 ounce, 1,000 ounce, all right? If I don't think they have 1,000 ounces anymore. You can't find them anymore. So, but 100 ounce, if you can get that in multiple 100 ounces, whatever. Or you get they have like these monster boxes where 500 coins. Those are pretty good too. So that's where you're going to get the best discount. If you buy in large numbers, they'll give you a discount. But I was looking at, like, if you bought a silver Liberty coin or Canadian, whatever, you're going to pay probably $9 to $10 over spot right now. Yeah, but if you go to Kirk Elliott, you're not going to pay that much. So the difference in what you're going to pay for a percentage of starting your account, and it's going to factor in. It's going to balance out. And he's going to come on Friday at 1 o'clock, and we'll probably talk a little bit about that. So bank runs are already starting, and of course banks fail every year, but let's go into this a little bit. So this is Johnny Bravo.
Bank run on Binance could continue. Investors appear to be in a hurry to remove assets from exchanges.
It is ugly.
China would unleash chaos on the global system. This is clearly something that they were planning all along.
Markets lower on fears of an escalating trade war.
This is China versus the world.
Fire, we have bank runs as we speak. And it's not just your normal everyday bank runs. One, it's digital. Two, it's currently, it's over $21 billion in withdrawals. So congratulations for you guys for figuring out that this is a Ponzi scheme. But actually, if you have not figured it out yet, your money ain't in these banks. You guys figured that out and you're like, I'm going digital. I'm getting it out of these banks onto my own wallet, and then I'm going to put it on an exchange, which that wasn't a good idea. And there is currently now lawsuits and a jury trial demanded against Tether. So we got Tether, we have Binance. Binance is currently handing out 400 millis. If you guys want it, maybe it will appease you. It shows fault, and then they made some deletes. Coin.
All right. So, this has happened. Runs on these stable coins. They're anything but, guys. So if you're moving your Bitcoin or anything like that, usually you use a stable coin to move it around, right? Or put your Bitcoin in it. Now, Binance has had several runs on it already. And there's been panics where people have come in and pull their money out. FTX, you guys might remember where FTX crashed. The FTT token that it supported crashed, and it went to nothing. And I talked to people that had Bitcoin and all that kind of stuff, and they lost it completely. So that was a huge loss. Now, for me, I was also in a stable coin, Terra Luna. This was back in 2022. So the algorithmic stable coin, Terra USD, famously lost its dollar peg, which triggered a death spiral that collapsed the entire Terra ecosystem. Now, I've invested in a lot of crypto over the last 10 years or so and made unbelievable profits, right? A lot of the foundation for my investment that I have right now was in moving in and out of different crypto coins, right? It's It's not easy. And there are pitfalls. Like for me, I had tens of thousands of dollars in Terra Luna, and it collapsed to below zero or below $1, almost zero. So if you have 1 penny, I can sell you my Terra Luna. Yeah, it went to like nothing pretty much. So tens of thousands of dollars disappeared in a few days. I was like, it's going to come back to stable coin. It never did, and kept going to nothing. I still have it. Who knows? Maybe it'll come back. Not. Right. I think the guy, they made scapegoat of him. The guy that was in charge of and started Terra Luna, I think they came after him. I don't know if he ended up in prison or what, but they made a scapegoat of him, but it wasn't his fault. They came in and hacked him. All right. And that's what they do. You saw that hack job that happened on FTX, or XRP that I showed you guys. They came in and hacked that sumbitch, right? Took that thing down. And they did the same thing to Bitcoin. Bitcoin was up there around 125,000 and then went all the way down to like, I don't know, 105 or something. And some big way, somebody with a lot of money that knew that thing was going to crash came in right then and bought millions and hundreds of millions and hundreds of millions, right? Manipulation, hello, right? So some big whale came into Terra Luna and hammered it, and then once they knocked it loose from the dollar peg, it started to crash, and that was it. It was gone, right? So go ahead, invest in Bitcoin, right? Go ahead, all right? I've been trying to tell you guys for a long time. I still have people, I bought on the pullback. I'm like, okay, should be in silver, right? Okay. Now XRP is like 245. So 240 for XRP is kind of like that zone. So if it goes below 240, that's not good. But if it goes above 240, that's good. So maybe it'll pick back up, but we'll see. We'll see, right? But eventually, it's going to go way down. Right? When the stock, what happens to crypto when the stock market goes down? Goes down, right? So it's speculative. It's all speculative, and I'm a speculator on things that I can see that are pretty much a sure win, right? Except for Terra Luna. I did fail on that one. But on all the other ones, not all of them, but most of them I've done really well. There's been others that they were on exchanges. I tried to get it and move it, and it disappeared. I was like, whoa, that's not cool. So some of those went. So Dogecoin, before it made it to the exchanges, it was on these little rinky-dink exchanges. That's the only way you could get it. So I got a lot of it. And then it went to it did go to $1, I think, or right at $1, then pulled back. I didn't get out of it until later, unfortunately. But at one point, boom, I was a crypto millionaire just in Dogecoin because I'd bought it on one of those little exchanges. Because I saw Elon Musk was all into Dogecoin. I was like, if Elon Musk, he's a smart guy. If he's into Dogecoin, I'm getting it. And I just pumped what I could into it, and it went to the moon, right? So some of it you can do that. And some of them, like Ethereum, you have to play them. So I played Ethereum, made a lot of money on Ethereum. I played XRP, made a lot. So all these, you can move and groove on them. But if you stay in them, you're probably going to get spanked, right? Now, if you have there was one time I said, I think 8 years ago, maybe longer. I think it was about eight or 9 years ago, when Bitcoin was it hit like 17,000 or something. And I could be off on the numbers, but anyway, I said, that sucker is going to zero, right? And it nearly did. It went down pretty low, but I watched it. I was like, it's not a zero yet. And so it started bouncing. And I was never into crypto. People would ask me, I said, no. And so I watched it, and I'm a chart guy. So fundamentals, not so much in crypto, but you can make money off it if you watch the technicals on it. So I watched the patterns of it, and I was like, that sucker's not going to go to zero. It's actually going to go back up. So I got in and made some money on it and took that money and put it in other stuff. So then I started to see the patterns of it. I don't think it holds value, because when you see all these other crypto coins that can go to zero, if they come in and hammer it, there's obviously people that have, the dollar gets manipulated. Yeah. Right. But not on a massive scale. Right. Not on a massive scale. And if you come in and get the dollar, you can sit on the dollar like some people have. When I warned them, you need to be in silver. And so they sat on dollars, and like you saw, dollars have gone down, and silver in that meantime has gone to the moon. Right. And so if you look at the difference in the turnaround, some of these people, because they didn't listen and put their $1 million in silver, they just put $250,000 in silver. And that could be relative to wherever you're at. I mean, I know some billionaires watch me. So billionaires are going big on silver, guys, big. I mean, lots of money. They smart. I don't know if they watch me, but they did the research. Maybe they watched me a little bit, but they did research, and they're very happy. So same thing, whether you have $10,000 that doubles, triples, or if you have $1 billion that doubles and triples, right? There's a lot more you can do with that money, right? Of course, it's still a fiat currency, which is one of the reasons why silver is going up, is because the fiat currency is depreciating. But that's not the only reason, right? Manipulation has been in this game for a long time. So if you look at 1980, when it went to the highest, one of the highest levels it's ever been, 50. Now it's like new record territory for silver. And you took the same dollar denomination and exchanged it to today's dollar, it's only $12. It's only 12. So $12 back then would buy an ounce of silver. $12 today, you're not going to get a quarter ounce, right? So it's got a long way to go, guys. It's got a long way to go. And the manipulation factor is coming to an end. And when it's completely exposed and done, it's boom time, right? More than what we see right now. Aussie dollar at 65 buys nothing, right? Bummer, right? The Aussie dollar, yeah, it's not done well. You're beautiful country, beautiful people, but a government that is deep state Nazi beyond belief. Oh, my Aussie friends, please get rid of those criminals. God, what a great country ruled by idiots, right? And not just idiots, but absolute criminal beyond belief. You know, the way they forced the vaccination in Australia was over the top, right? You guys should have just took down that surged through the parliament or whatever they got going on there. So anyway, hopefully you guys do better going forward. Maybe America can help you out. I think we're going to try and help the Canadians, but they're close. You guys are a little bit further. You know, you're down under, so it takes a little time to get there, but it's worth it. It's worth it. Down under, lovely, love it. Great people. All right, lots of love. Stay in the love vibration, and I will see you guys next time.